Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the North American Van Life Industry Tour, a video series that's going to cover the building of this van back here, a 2020 Ford Transit. I'm traveling all around North America, visiting different companies that are supplying me with products that I'm integrating into the van. We've already visited Arkansas, where we had the front bumper, bull bar, all sorts of exterior components in the ladder put on the van. We went to Houston, where we got the interior thermal barrier and sound coating from lizard skin, as well as a communication system from a company called Bolton Wilson Amplifiers. So we got our WeBoost. But one of the most important and pivotal parts of this build is going to be the air conditioning system. It's going to be the most power hungry. It's going to be probably one of my most appreciated items, because my goal with the van is to turn it into a studio, turn it into a podcasting area where I'll work and develop videos that I'll publish on the channel. And I don't want to be burning up on the road. So the air conditioning system is very important. And Cruise & Comfort makes one of the most innovative and unique air conditioning systems for van life and RV enthusiasts. One of the reasons why they're a bit unique is because they don't mount the air conditioning to the roof. They create an undercarriage style air conditioning system, a lot similar to the fleets of semi-trucks that travel around the world. It's a mini split system, and I'm not going to explain it too much, because one of the reasons I do this tour is so that I can come and let the guys at Cruise & Comfort describe it for me. So let's meet them. Michelle?
Yes.
How are you?
Good. Come on in.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Chris.
Hey Matt, how you doing?
How's it going?
Good to meet you.
Good. Good to meet you.
How are you?
Good.
That comes up there. So yeah, this is a 48 volt unit. This is actually yours.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I bought the company back in 08, back when nobody was doing anything. Everybody was getting all their toys, boats, and everything repoed. So that was a good time for us to purchase the company and get into it.
Always air conditioning.
Always air conditioning.
Okay.
Marine air conditioning.
Okay.
So we purchased the name and the products and started selling. And then later on we ended up getting a call from one of the biggest amusement companies, parks in the world, and we did a project for them, and that kind of got us rolling.
Like doing their transportation vehicles on park or
parade floats.
Oh, floats.
Floats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep the employees cool.
Yeah, they got to be cool in there.
Yeah. That was kind of the start of our HD unit, and then the Navy and the Army needed a stainless steel version of it, so that turned into the boat unit that you see today, and the HD unit you see today. So.
Wow.
Like the HD unit. So the HD unit's about 10 years old now. Most of our components are made here in Arizona.
Okay.
So compressors are made here in the United States for us.
The shielding and the laser cutting, that's all done here?
Yep. My buddy owns a metal shop and does all of that for us, and design work. And I'm sure they, I make a lot of changes. So they call me Sir Change a lot.
Sir Change a lot. If you're interested in having a lot of deck space on the top of your van, a lot of, maybe you want to use that for solar panel or a deck or something, free up all that space, Cruise & Comfort. If you want to have a system that's a little bit more versatile and ducted, and you can position the airflow in more versatile ways, that's Cruise & Comfort. My objective is to sit in the back of that van and edit videos.
Yeah.
And to sit in the back of that van and produce videos.
Yeah.
And I drove that van from Texas when I bought it, and when I was driving, I was in a tin can that was just heating up. I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, air conditioning is very, because I had heard from people, well, all you got to do is open the windows and all of this ventilation things. Yeah. But a lot of those people were leaving their van during the day to do adventures and things like that,
and then back at night. Story. Getting into this, I never thought there'd be so many different uses.
Oh my gosh!
I'll get a phone call and somebody's like, hey, it's kind of unique. I'm like, try me.
Yeah.
I've got a floating hotel that's made out of styrofoam. I'm like, that's
okay.
Never heard that one before, but government does rocket sleds, and they're like, so how many G's can it handle? I'm like, I have no idea. We put them. The same HD unit that you're going to get is the same unit we put in offshore race boats, and they mount them right to the bottom of the boat. There's no suspension. There's no
they're jostling.
comfy tires or anything. Yeah.
If you've never seen a race, I lived in Detroit off Lake St. We had the Detroit River races with rah, 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 and those things are they're just getting brutalized.
The boats are out of the water more than they're in the water.
You can see their prop.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know how they'll hold up, but do it, and then just send them back to me every year. And I call them every year. I'm like, hey, how's it doing? They're like, it's fine. I'm like, do you want me to look at it? No, it's good. Like, I believe that you should make a product, and if it's expensive like that, it should be able to be fixed.
Right.
Right. You spend $5,000 on a TV, don't throw it away.
Okay, so for my situation,
it's an expensive compressor. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, it's good quality.
It's not like we could go overseas, like a lot of these companies like to do the rooftop units. They use overseas compressors, like an automotive style compressor. Aluminum lines crack. We use copper. We use the refrigeration copper on some of the joints, 15% silver, and then we use 52% silver on some of the other joints. So high content silver, which changes daily.
Yeah.
The price of our
fluctuates.
The brazing rods go up and down, and they're expensive. Most people, you can get away with doing 5%. Most companies probably do 5%. But I like the more expensive stuff. I don't want it to break. If you go to buy a product and you go through the instruction manual and it says not for agricultural use or mining use or heavy equipment use, that
You're
means
all of the above.
They don't want it bouncing. They don't want it bouncing around and shaking and all that stuff. And our stuff is do it. This is Michelle.
Yeah, everybody knows Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. She's the boss.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So if I ever say Michelle's going to do that for you or get that for you and she doesn't,
This is the lady.
there she is.
That doesn't ever happen, by the way.
That's true. Back when we first started doing it, it was like, you had lead acid batteries. AGMs were kind of coming on the market, and they just, 50 amps is a lot for a battery.
Yeah.
But not now. The lithiums will,
Changes the game.
Yeah. We've got 48 volt systems that'll run 11 hours on a 100 amp hour 48 volt battery. Yeah. A lot of people, it's kind of like when you buy something and you don't know, like, who really makes that?
Yeah. This guy.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Well, yeah, Michelle she does final inspection and final assembly on those things.
Yeah.
And everything else,
That's why doing these videos is cool because, you get to meet you and then you understand who's making the product.
And you're not shooting my birthday present, are you?
Is that your birthday present? Now I am.
So you're ever calling me and I ever fall asleep?
Well, you hear
it's
hear
Michelle's fault. It's It's Michelle's fault.
How can I help you?
She's like, I don't know what to get you, and she goes, I thought about because the back hurts, and lifting these things, and she goes, I'm gonna get you one of those. Then I use it, and she's like, oh, you're just up here in your chair. I'm like, no, I'm taking phone calls. I'm on the phone. Yeah.
And Michelle, that was a great gift idea.
Just don't use it.
So how long have you been at this location?
We've been here, it's almost a year.
Okay. And before then, you were where? All around here?
We were, just across the freeway.
Okay.
Yeah. We were talking about doing like the tent thing on the top and all that stuff. Like an over.
Oh, that thing's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and maybe put a small system in it. I think I can do a 220 amp. I think a Hummer alternator will fit on that, so we can do that. That's the Corvette that the Fry's relationship was founded with. I mean, that's the base of the foundation.
This is the glue.
That's the car.
This is the glue.
I'm like, I've only got $2,000, and he goes, well, my secretary wants it. She offered me $2,400 for it, and I'm like, oh, and I was 22 or 23, something like that. I said, I might be able to scrape. I was living at home with mom and dad. I said, maybe I can scrape a little more money together. And he goes, I'll let you know tomorrow. He goes, what are you going to do with it? And I said, I'm going to kind of restore it back to the way when you bought it. So he comes back the next day, he goes, $2,000 stories.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not $2,400? He goes,
you're doing the right thing with it.
She was going to chop it up and make it into a race car. Thank you, Mr. Stanley. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's it's all factory, and it's not perfect, but it's a good driver. We spent hours. 5 o'clock in the morning doing brakes and everything on the car, and it's got. I bought it with 60,000 miles. It's got 90 on it now.
Okay.
So it's not a whole lot for 1970.
No, it's got a lot of life left.
This is my 48. I bought this thing rusted and beat up and stuff, and my buddy painted it, I did all the final assembly, the color sending, the buffing. As you can see, the door still needs to be buffed.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful.
So this one's got our VES system in it. The compressor's underneath the seat, and under the dash is the evaporator. So it's all hidden.
Okay.
So the cool thing about this truck was like it was an original truck, and I'm not like a resto mod guy. Like that's got the original motor, that's got the original motor.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like to change things. So we want to put air conditioning in it, but you want to see it. So that's why I came out with the VES system, was for this truck. And
What does VES stand for?
Vehicle Environmental System.
Okay.
Yeah. But now it means we put them in cranes and it's really good for
vehicle
heavy.
is a very broad subject. Yeah.
Heavy equipment, stuff like that. Condenser is the condenser is underneath the bed here. So we have our dual fan condensers underneath the bed there. And yeah, the wood kit's right there, and it's not in yet. But as soon as I get time, I'm going to do that.
Oh, so this is going to be like what, teak?
It's a walnut.
Oh,
and
man,
so
that's
it's
gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
You're never going to want to put anything in the back of this thing.
No, that's okay though. Yeah, that's okay. So you don't want to put some modern compressor on it, right?
Right.
So
whoa, I always am amazed at the amount of real estate in some of these old engines. You know, like today, it's all, every inch is taken with like electronics and.
But once you get one of these, you start realizing why they did all the new safety features on the cars. You realize why they do it. Like you look at, I'm building this thing, and I got the frame and the steering columns mounted to the frame. Yeah. So I look at my dad and I'm like, so in a front end collision, the frame folds up, the steering column goes where? And he's like, that goes through you. I'm like, that's awesome. So we did, PowerGen makes it's an alternator. It looks like an old generator.
Yeah.
And the thing does like 90 amps.
Wow.
Yeah, so we can charge the system, hide a lithium underneath there. We're gonna do some of the small Battleborns, the little 50 amp ones, and hide them under the frame. It just kind of keeps the vehicle stock looking.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it's a beautiful
thing. What's that?
On the window, the original cruising comfort.
Oh, that's
The original cruising and comfort.
Montgomery Ward. So in the 50s and stuff, you would rent them. They would rent them to you, fill them with water. That was your cooler. So the air goes in, and there's a little...
It's like a swamp cooler.
Swamp cooler.
Yeah.
And they would collect them at the other side. And then they rent them going back. And people would rent them.
Run on. Does the air flowing down the street goes in here, and then it spins? Right. And then there's...
No, it doesn't spin. There's a hay like cylinder, right?
Okay.
So you fill it
filter
full of
or
water.
something. Yeah.
Air goes in the front. What is it?
Celsius.
Celsius.
That's like a mat of hay.
Is that what that is? Like
Celsius.
So here's your vent, and then you pull this lever, and it spins that cylinder to get it wet again.
No way.
So the water's in the bottom, and then you pull that, and it gets it wet again, and then you pull it again, and it gets wet again. The only downside of these is if you make a right-hand turn, your passenger can get wet.
Oh yeah.
The water comes out.
dump
Yeah,
right
if you
out.
overfill it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The original air conditioning system.
Yeah. Thermadors were real popular, but I came across that one on eBay, and it was a Montgomery Ward. Yeah, this is Amelia. So Amelia Earhart, you know, we kind of like a tribute to her, and the car is going to go. We're going to repaint it. It's going to be, we're going to do the like a vintage aircraft theme on it.
Cool.
Okay, and this one's getting the VES system. Also, the compressor will go either hidden in the rumble seat or underneath the frame.
Okay.
And then that's the PowerMaster PowerGen right there. And you look, they give you a little.
Okay.
They give you a little birth certificate on it. So at idle, it put out 16, cruise 80. Is that 16? Yeah.
Top end,
No, 66.
92.
66, 80, 92.
Wow.
Yeah, so every one you buy, you get that. It has, I think it has like achievement internal syndrome.
Wow.
So you're underneath the gas tank, which is on your lap.
Does the gas tank end here?
This is
like
the fuel tank.
This top portion.
Yes. I'm like, okay, so you get in an accident, and then the rod goes through the gas tank, right? So then it gets on the exhaust manifold, catches fire, and the floorboard is not metal, of course, it's wood, right? So I'm thinking, like, how fast do you got to get out of this thing if you ever got in an accident? Like crazy.
It would buckle and burn.
Yeah, like people are driving these things around.
All right, right, now we know more about you, more about your background, more about what you're passionate about. Show us a little bit about the systems that you supply and how they, basically how they work. That's a completed unit.
Right. Yeah. Michelle's doing the final touches on it. She puts with every unit you get Michelle's autograph.
Ooh.
So she autographs the inside of them, or
Can I resell it on eBay?
Might be worth some someday.
Yeah.
Or if it's on the what's that road show? The antique road show. 50 years from now. Yeah.
I have a request.
Yeah.
I want your signature and Michelle's.
Oh, okay. We'll
Gotta
autograph.
do that.
Well, actually, you'll get that with the 48 volt stuff. I do all the electronics on, and Michelle does the final assembly. So yeah, we'll get that. Yeah.
I'd like that. Yeah.
Okay. The standard version. This is like the HT12L. It comes with a manual control, and a lot of people are saying, they ask us like, why do we have so many options? Well, we started making this not for the van market. We started making it for, like government stuff and commercial stuff. And all they want is flip the switch, adjust the
Make
blower.
it work.
That's
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
right? After the fact, when the van market found us, we started adding options, because like van companies are like, hey, condenser, like before we just send it out the door, they figured out how to make it and install it and run it, right? So now a whole different market, and as people are going to us like, hey, it'd be cool, like how hard is it to mount the condenser? We decided to make things more easy. So like the thermostat option. So now you can get a thermostat option. And the thermostat option, people then they wanted Wi-Fi. So now we have a Wi-Fi thermostat option. Then they wanted an option for controlling other heat and radiant floors and stuff like that. So we have that option.
Yeah.
And it's all plug and play. All goes into the front. So that's why we have an option for that. People wanted an option to do to mount the condenser. So I made these brackets. I did a first run of them. They're stainless steel. We press in the hardware, so they're adjustable. The cool thing, and I have one I can show you that's already on there, and how it adjusts, but it makes installation so much easier.
Yeah. So when you order a set, this is kind of the package. You'll get the tray.
This is kind of like
If
the off-road van. It's got drain tubes on all four corners, and then because the whole unit sits in it, and bolts, our units, they through bolt, which I think is a better idea than brackets on the side. If for some reason, God forbid, you're in an accident, the last thing you want is this thing flying.
Jostling around. Yeah.
So through bolt it, grade 8 bolts, bolt the thing to the floor, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So my metal guys, they've asked me.
Outerly.
Yeah.
I met him. He's a really nice guy. Have you met him?
No, I have not in person.
Young kid, man. He's smart.
He's done quite a few of them.
He's done some cool stuff.
So this is our new metal.
Ooh. This is off to the side now, and it's a plate.
Correct. This plate, the cool thing about this plate, well, you can unbolt it. We can put a filter in there if you want to put a filter in there, and then you can change it. Your condenser lines hook up here. The thermostat or whatever you choose to control it hooks here. Condenser, the power for the condenser comes out here, and then huge. I oversize everything, so huge power terminals. So you can put whatever, and I cut it all open, so you can put as big a wire as you want to. Yeah. Oversized, overbuilt. That's me. So that is our new double fan condenser, the new metal and all that stuff. Yeah, it's cool, right?
You do love your logo.
I do love
your logo.
Yeah,
I can tell.
Yeah. And everybody, the biggest question I get is
Debris from under the van.
if somebody so-and-so says it's not a good idea to have the condenser under the vehicle.
Yeah.
Fans are sealed, dust-proof, waterproof, all that good stuff. So they're automotive-grade fans, so they're designed to be in sleet, snow, whatever.
If, God forbid, one goes out, you can...
Yeah, so like during the pandemic and all that stuff, and now our shipping shortages and stuff, there the other holes you can't see them, but there's multiple holes here for two different fan companies that we use.
Okay.
So that we can always get you a fan.
Yeah. How many recreational units do you put out a month?
I think we're up to like 60 or 70 of them.
Wow. And what's the percentage of 12 volt versus 24?
More 12 volt because it's easy.
Yeah.
12 volts easy. 24 volts a little harder. 48 volts, like that's like it's harder, but it's kind of worth the reward, I guess. You know, like it's more work, but I think the payoff is a lot better.
What's a payoff for 48 volt? I'm just, in your words.
I mean, typically, efficiency.
Efficiency.
Yeah. I mean, the units, you just get more runtime out of them,
Yeah.
in the higher voltages.
Yep.
So, wire sizes don't have to be as big. That's the biggest thing. A lot of automotive manufacturers are going to 48 volt.
Yeah.
We hear semi trucks and fire trucks are going to 48 volts. And I mean, the new vehicles right now, there's a lot less wiring, with all the CAN bus stuff, That's where you save money, right? Copper. This has the new rock guard. It's automotive grade.
Awesome.
So, and then our mounts, the stainless steel mounts that we told you about over there.
Yep.
Makes adjusting everything real
Yeah,
ease.
You could tell just by they're really, really nice.
Yeah, very adjustable in and out, and if you need to grab grab a beam sideways, you can turn them sideways and do that, or whatever.
I wanted originally a 12 volt system, and then Victron recommended a 24, and then we went back, and now we're going to 48, and so there've been a lot of back and forth. My ideal thing was that I was going to come here and pick up my finished unit, but I pulled the rug out from under his feet, like, what was it, a week ago or something like that.
Something like that.
And I said, hey man, could we switch to 48? And he says, yeah, we can do anything you want, but it's going to take some time. So I can't leave with the finished unit, but it'll be ready in about a month.
Because 48 volts not that common, but it's starting to become common.
Yeah.
And so getting 48 volt blowers is not easy.
Yeah.
So we have to buy pallets of them.
So how long do you think it'll be before you can get me my unit?
Your unit's gonna be like 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay. Can we take a look at the van, and then you can kind of give me an idea of
Sure.
Because if I at least know the sizing and placement, and then I can start building the cabinetry, and maybe by the time the unit's in, I can just plop it in.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So what I want to do is I want to put the air conditioning unit here, and then I wanted to use this corridor as an opportunity to bring the air up and here, and have the registers coming forward from over the door. Is that something that sounds efficient, or?
Yeah. Instead of bringing them over the door, you could, make a valance, and then bring the tubing up through the valance, and then do the vents in the top corners like that. You obviously want to use insulated ducting.
Yeah.
So use the valance to conceal, but not to carry air. Anytime you try and make air go through, like some of the Dometic rooftop units.
Right.
You have a ton of air going through a register, right? And that's with the rooftop units. You're cramming a bunch of air through a register. It makes noise.
Yeah.
That's why I suggest multiple 4-inch vents, short runs, keep it short, because it's just going to quiet it down.
I'm just trying to figure out how to work it in so that it's not so obnoxiously large,
Right.
but it's carrying enough air to where it's not restrictive and making a lot of noise.
Well, you could do smaller tubing through it, and then
Open up wider,
but then insulate around it, so put the ducting there, right? And then instead of doing, you can do insulated ducting, but 4-inch ducting that's insulated becomes 5 or 6 inches.
Right. Yeah.
You can squish it and stuff, but or you could do they make a marine grade AC ducting. With our unit, it's more involved.
Yeah.
It could be more involved. It could be really easy. You can just put it there on the floor, and some people
just shoot it out.
People do a vent, and then they'll do like a hole, and they'll do kind of like at home, like the faucet where you pull the faucet out and do the spray thing, right?
Yeah, and they're just
they'll pull
directing it around like a brontosaurus neck or something.
They'll just pull it out and make it retractable.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And it's just flush, and then they'll stick it with a magnet right here, and then when they're not using it, put it back down. That could be easy.
Yeah.
But
I want it pretty.
everybody wants.
I want it sexy, or at least handsome. I wouldn't mind actually taking a box if you have one and just placing it so I can get an idea of how it's going to look.
So it's going to be right here.
Yeah.
So can you go the tubing here, go up,
That was the plan.
and then do a Y and go over and then up?
I was going to try and have one come all the way up and across because I was thinking I could take and use this and just hug all the way and maybe put a vent.
I would just do like 2 simple vents.
2 simple vents.
But then you're gonna have to duct it. The
Yeah,
whole thing, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather not have, you know, if I can create a
Yeah.
balance there,
Right.
and then have it kind of come up and across, and I can have it, you know, ejecting there and ejecting there. Well, my
running the
intention is to, because I know a few outdoor outfitters that make, like, you know, thermal jackets for mountain climbing, and I want them to make me a curtain that can be adjustable, so I could cut off this area, or when I'm editing, I can contain myself in this back portion. My goal is to have a video where I can be like, I have the system that allows you to stay relatively cool for the longest amount of time, you know?
Right. And that's, you know, 48 volts is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
For that.
Do you think that's a good idea,
it's
though?
cool.
Carrying
Yeah,
it around the back door? I think that's a good... Yeah, I look at it and I'm like, well, that could be somewhere I could put it that wouldn't be...
You could do a third one up here just for this main area that you could just shut off. You can shut them off.
Right.
And you know, keep it going the other way.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
The more you can mix up the air, you know, like... Because I had one customer put one up here, and they shot it this way, right?
Yeah.
And it just, like, it wouldn't mix around.
Yeah,
it would just stay up in here, you know, kind of hit this area, kind of like, you get hot spots, right?
Yeah.
And then the thermostat was over on this side. He's like, yeah, it's running for a long time. Like, well, the thermostat's on a hot control panel.
Right.
So it's picking up the heat from the control panel.
So the considerations with cruising comfort are interior space and undercarriage space, right?
I think we make a great product, and you know, like I said, the compressor and the controllers are ridiculously expensive, and that's the base of the system. Plus,
you're paying for quality.
All the stainless steel and all that stuff. It just, I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be worse. It could be, you know, you make an expensive product and it doesn't work.
Yeah,
or
expensive piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, people don't want it. You know.
Yeah. So he can't give me a finished unit quite yet, but I asked him if he had a blank case that was maybe damaged or something he can't sell, because I want to be able to make sure that if it takes a little while for him to get me the finished unit, I can still build the bench around it, because obviously this is not going to be the finished product. The finished product is going to be gorgeous. Placement wise, I think this is where the unit is going to sit. It's going to sit right out, because there's going to be a water tank here that's going to go this way, and then the cruising comfort unit is going to go right here. And so the intake is going to be a little bit on the inside and then also on the outside.